Apparition of the Blessed Virgin Mary Immaculate, 1858, Lourdes, France. In the fourth year after the definition of the dogma of the Immaculate Conception of the Blessed Virgin, the Virgin herself deigned to appear on several occasions to a certain very poor but pious and innocent girl named Bernadette, in a rocky cavern overlooking the Grotto of Massable, on the banks of the river Gave, near the town of Lourdes in the Diocese of Tarbes in France. The Immaculate Virgin showed herself as a young and gracious figure robed in white, with a white veil and blue girdle and golden roses on her bare feet. At the first apparition on February 11, 1858, she taught the child to make the sign of the cross correctly and devoutly, and taking a chaplet from her own arm, encouraged her by example to say the Holy Rosary. This was also repeated in the subsequent apparitions. On the second day the girl, who feared some deceit of the devil, in all simplicity cast holy water at the Virgin, who smiled more graciously than before. At the third apparition, the girl was invited to repeat her visits to the grotto for 15 days. During this time the Virgin conversed with her, exhorted her to pray for sinners, to kiss the ground and do penance, and finally commanded her to tell the priests that a chapel was to be built in that place and that pilgrims should come to it solemnly in prayer. She was also told to drink and wash in the water from a spring, until then invisible but which soon gushed out of the ground. On the Feast of the Annunciation the girl earnestly begged the Virgin, who had so often visited her, to reveal her name, and joining her hands and raising her eyes to heaven, she said, "I am the Immaculate Conception." Widespread reports of favors which the faithful were said to have received at the sacred grotto, in time increased the crowds of people which the devotion of the place was calling to the grotto. Therefore the Bishop of Tarbes, who had been impressed by the report of the miracles and the sincerity of the girl 4 years after these events, after a judicial inquiry, recognized the supernatural character of the apparition and permitted the worship of the Immaculate Virgin to be held in the grotto. A chapel was soon built, and since then, almost innumerable crowds of the faithful, because of vows and prayers, have come here every year from France, Belgium, Italy, Spain, and all parts of Europe and the most remote parts of America, and the name of the Immaculate of Lourdes has become famous in all countries. Water from the fountain, carried to all parts of the globe, has restored health to the sick. And the Catholic world, mindful of so many benefits, has built beautiful churches there. Countless banners, proofs of favors received, sent there by cities and nations, decorate the temple of the Virgin with a marvelous beauty. The Immaculate Virgin is constantly venerated, as if in her own palace. The days are filled with prayers, sacred singing, and other solemn ceremonies, and the nights are sanctified by the pious supplications of almost countless people who walk in procession carrying lighted candles and torches, and singing the praises of the Blessed Virgin. It is evident to all that pilgrimages of this kind have revived faith in a world grown indifferent, have given inspiration to the profession of Christian faith, and have wonderfully increased devotion to the Immaculate Virgin. The Christian people have priests as leaders in this wonderful profession of faith, who bring their flocks there. Even bishops frequently visit the holy spot, lead pilgrimages, and take part in the more solemn feasts. And it is not uncommon for the eminent cardinals of the Roman Church themselves to be seen as humble pilgrims. The Roman pontiffs themselves also have, out of their piety towards the Immaculate of Lourdes, showered many noble gifts upon the sacred temple. Pope Pius IX enriched it with sacred indulgences, gave it the privilege of an arch-confraternity and the title of a minor basilica, and delegated his apostolic legate in France to crown, with solemn rites, the statue of the Mother of God venerated in that place. Pope Leo XIII also granted very many favors, jubilee indulgences on the 25th anniversary of the apparition, and promoted pilgrimages by his authority and suggestion, and ordained that the solemn dedication of the church under the title of the Rosary should be done in his name. Moreover, he crowned all these favors by granting, at the request of many bishops, the celebration of a solemn feast under the title of the Apparition of the Blessed Virgin Mary Immaculate, with proper office and Mass. Finally, Pope Pius X, out of devotion to the Mother of God, granted the petition of many bishops that this feast should be extended to the universal Church. Amen. The reading of the Holy Gospel according to St. Luke. At that time, the angel Gabriel was sent from God to a town of Galilee called Nazareth, to a virgin betrothed to a man named Joseph, of the house of David, and the virgin's name was Mary. And so forth. Homily of St. Bernard Abbot. Rejoice, Father Adam, yet more, O Mother Eve, do thou exult, who as you were the parents of all, so you were the ruin of all, and what is more unfortunate, you caused their ruin before you gave them birth. Both, I say, be comforted in your daughter, and in such a daughter, but most of all she from whom the evil came, whose shame has been handed down to all women. But the time is now at hand when that reproach shall be taken away, nor will man have that pretext against woman, whom thou gavest me, gave me of the tree and I did eat. Therefore, O Eve, run to Mary, O Mother, hasten to thy daughter, let the daughter answer for the mother, let her take away the reproach from her mother, let her make amends to the father for the mother, for if man fell through a woman, it is through a woman that he is raised up. What were you saying, O Adam? The woman, whom thou gavest me, gave me of the tree and I did eat. These are spiteful words, more likely to increase than obliterate thy fault. But wisdom conquered malice when she found in the treasury of her unfailing tenderness an opportunity for pardon which God, by his question, sought to obtain from you and could not. A woman is given for a woman, a wise woman for a foolish, a bumble for a proud. She holds out to you not that fruit of death, but the food of life, and instead of bitter poison she gives you the sweetness of an eternal fruit. Change then the words of your wicked excuse into thanksgiving and say, the woman, whom thou gavest me, gave me of the tree of life and I did eat, sweeter it is to me than honey to my mouth, for thou hast quickened me in it. It was for this that the angel was sent to the Virgin, O wonderful Virgin, most worthy of all honor. O woman supremely venerable, admirable above all women, thou hast repaired the sin of thy forefathers and given life to their posterity. What else was it that God foretold when he said to the serpent, I will put enmities between thee and the woman? And if you still doubt that he spoke of Mary, hear what follows. She shall crush thy head. To whom is this victory reserved, if not to Mary? For undoubtedly she crushed that venomous head when she brought to nothing all the suggestions of the evil one, both as regards the lure of the flesh and the pride of the mind. What other woman had Solomon in mind when he said, who shall find a valiant woman? For the wise man knew that his sex was weak, of body frail, of mind inconstant. But as he had read of God's promise, and saw how fit it was that he, who had conquered by means of a woman, should in his turn be overcome by a woman, he said with great wonder, who shall find a valiant woman? Which is to say, since the salvation of us all and the restoration of innocence and victory over the enemy depend on a woman, valiant indeed must she be to perform so great a work. Amen. Benedicat vos omnipotens Deus, Pater, et Filius, et Spiritus Sanctus. Amen.